Welcome, everyone. So I think this is the first AMA that we're having for just the high table NFT holders. I am Tina, Teahouse COO. Welcome to part of our family, I guess. So one thing that we wanted to check is how many of our holders are strictly English only, because I know some people are bilingual and some people drop in from the Chinese side. So when Phoenix does his Chinese version, he gets hundreds of listeners, and we have about like 10. So we don't want to um, make it difficult for you guys, the English speakers only, to receive information. So we do want to have a regular AMA as well. On the Chinese side, I believe they're doing two AMAs per month. On the English side, because I think part of the issue is there's only one time zone for Chinese speakers, basically. But with the English speakers, there's like US, European, and Asia, so they're spread all across the world. So it's really difficult to find a good time for everybody to be available at the same time. So we'll be recording this. For those of you who aren't here, they can go back and listen to it anyway. But we'll be running some polls. I believe we tried already, but we received very few responses. But we want to see how many people are like English only. That way we can tailor our English materials better to you guys. So a couple administrative things first. Based on the results of the poll, we will try to have at least one English AMA per month for on the English side as well. They will try to record them. And then also on the server side, with our Discord channels, what our hosts decided to do is to only have one channel open during the weekends. And weekends here, we mean the Asia time zone weekends. And then during the weekend, we'll be answering more intermittently. So we won't be standing by 24/7 because it becomes really much of a burden on our team if we have to be there all the time. We'll still try to respond when we can, but it won't be as timely as during the week, for example. So that's just an announcement about our server times. But we'll also have more, volunteers and people who will help answer, so it doesn't always have to be our core team. But on the ticket side, because only our team would respond to the tickets, so you may get a slower response. And that music is kind of loud. All right. Sorry, it's distracting me from from my thought process. All right, so let's get started with the actual materials. So the reason we want to have these AMA is to kind of update our community on what we've been working on, and we need to get your feedback on a lot of these things. For example, we'll be talking about a GameFi project. It's a jump to earn project. It's called Jumpr. And then we have a crowdfunding for NFT as a strategy that we're working on as well. That will be available for our holders to put your assets into. And then I'll also be making some announcements on the hardware wallet redeeming process. So those are the three main topics that I have for today. So let's start with, actually, host, can you run a quick survey right now in our English channel to see how many of the current listeners are strictly English only, just so I get an idea. Yeah, thank you. For Chinese speakers, my recommendation is to join Phoenix's bi-monthly AMAs just because you get more people asking great questions. And so if you're okay with Chinese, you should probably join on that side. But I'm also happy to talk to our English speakers. All right, so while host is doing the survey on how many of you are strictly English, we'll get started on Jumpr. So Jumpr is basically it's an app that runs on your phone that can monitor you jumping rope. So as a form of exercise. So similar to the step-in sneakers concept, but instead of sneakers and walking, this is specifically for jumping, for jump rope. So in the app, you'll see like a jump rope, and you put the phone on the floor, actually facing you, while you do your exercises, and they'll count the numbers that you're doing, and you get experience and things like that accordingly, and then you can upgrade your rope and things like that. So this is a GameFi project that came to us to see if we can help them, like consult for them for the blockchain related stuff, as well as tokenomics and launching their app. So we are going to our community, which is you guys, to see if this is something that you would be interested in using yourself and also investing into. So the voting will happen on the 20th of this month, Asia time, Taiwan time, I guess. So you guys will get a chance to vote whether or not you think this project would be successful. And by voting, if it passes, that means we will be helping them launch this project. And what our community will get would be whitelist for the rope. For when they actually launch, you'll get a discounted whitelist. So the public sale would be a little bit higher, and the price for the whitelist would be lower, and all of our holders would likely be able to get in on the whitelist. But if you vote yes and you don't buy it, that's probably bad because it reflects badly on our community. You got to put your money where your votes are, I guess. So, but if you're not interested because it's not something that you think will succeed, then please do feel free to vote no. So my understanding is that Phoenix has already given out these Jumpr NFTs for people, and for the people who own these testing NFTs, these are not real. They're just for the alpha testing, basically, to see if there's bugs and to test out the functionalities and the app itself. So that has already been distributed. So I'm not sure if any of our current listeners actually got one. But currently we're not giving out anymore. We have enough testers now, and there's like no additional benefits of being a tester other than helping us to fine tune and improve the product. So this is currently in the testing phase, and we have found some bugs, and there's some pros and cons about this project. So let's see, host can post a link to what it looks like, I guess, what the apps looks like. Okay, great. Yeah, so it's a video about Jump to Learn, Jumpr, and you can take a look at what that actually looks like. So, kind of summarizing a little bit on the pros and cons. The pros about this is it's an app that would, be net positive for people because it forces you or incentivizes you to exercise. So, like Step In, this is something that would be good for people to FOMO into, basically. And the other pro is that their product has a great roadmap. It has milestones and things that they want to build into their app, and they all make sense from our perspective. And it's also a more kind of fun and interesting app compared to like STEPN, which is you can only walk or run. The only thing that it does is count your steps. So there's like very little variations that you can do with that. But with this app, Jumpr, it's kind of like a AR VR exercise kit just on your phone. So think about apps and games like Just Dance. So you can have different circles pop up on your screen that you have to move to, and you can kind of coordinate that with music. So it becomes a little bit more um, of a portable VR game, and and therefore has a lot of room for growth. You can make mini games, you can make other interesting things that coordinates with moving and jumping and things like that. Um, and also a pro is that if we end up voting for this project and we end up helping them launch, we are going to be one of the biggest OG communities of this app. And then we're going to get a lot of voting rights, and we'll get like the Genesis version of the rope. Um, and we will be pretty influential in terms of where we want the project to go, basically. So these are the pros. And of course, there are some cons as well. So the biggest con that everyone is worried about is the potential for people cheating. So when you're having like your own app offline, like a one person single player game, you don't really care that much about cheating because you're basically cheating yourself. Instead of walking, you're making your cat walk for you or something. So then you're actually not getting the benefit. But as soon as it gets on, Web3 and becomes this like play to earn, jump to earn concept, then people care that others might be cheating while, I'm over here jumping like until I'm out of breath, but there are other people who can cheat and just sit there and still earn the tokens, the experience and points and things like that. So cheating is of a major concern with types of games like this, like play to earn, jump to earn type of games. And this app, we have found ways to cheat it. And of course, we're reporting all of the possible ways to cheat, and then the product team is working on solving these. But this is one of the cons that people may encounter. The other one is that we need to vet the product team, the Jumpr guys, a little bit better to see if they can execute on the project. On the technical side, building a game and meeting all of the functionalities and the milestones, as well as how their executive team handles like their community, doing AMAs and things like that. Because the guys over there seem to be a little bit more product centric, meaning that they're not as outgoing, I guess, as someone like Phoenix would be. So they have a little bit more trouble addressing their audience. So as an example that Phoenix used on the Chinese side, he was saying that um, even the STEPN founders ran into issues when people were pressuring them on their AMA to ask them, oh, why the drop in value, what's going on, what's all the China bans and things like that, and they weren't able to provide a good response, and then which led to more downtrend with their tokens and their product. So we want to make sure the Jumpr team is able to handle this type of PR situations so they don't destroy their own brand if it comes down to that. So these are some potential cons, and these are the things that we Teahouse is investigating into. And then the other one is right now, STEPN is not doing so well. So for those of you who've been following, they were initially banned out of China, and they said they were moving out. And then there were other rumors and things like that. So now they're almost at their all-time low. I'm not really sure if they're still really down, but they lost a huge portion of their value. So because Jumpr is similar in concept to STEPN, we're not sure if this is a great time to be entering. So we have to think about, can we do better than what they've done? But then I guess the good part is it is a little bit, as I said before, more variety and more room to expand the Jumpr app versus something like STEPN. Yeah, so as we kind of move forward with this, the first kind of milestone would be for our community, our Teahouse high table holders, to vote on whether this is a project that they want to support and they want to purchase. And once that happens, we can work with the Jumpr team to further improve the product if we decided to go that route. By the way, I took this time to take a look at this survey on whether or not you're English speaker only or if you're bilingual. I think 8 people voted out of the 15 listening right now. So if you haven't voted, please go to our English VIP Pass channel and let us know if you're English only or if you can also understand Chinese. Thanks. So yeah, as host was saying, we will be voting on Snapshot, and this is an app that a lot of the different Web3 projects are using to vote for different proposals, like in various DAOs and protocols. So I think we'll be using this a lot more as we grow our community. So this will be the first voting on Snapshot that's going to happen on the 20th. Well, actually, this might be the second because we have another one coming up in our crowdfunding, which we'll go into in a little bit. So lastly, I just want to summarize Jumpr. So they're a pretty experienced team who's worked on Web2 fitness apps, and they're trying to move into Web3. And Teahouse has been invited as their consultant to see if we want to help them launch. And instead of just us deciding, we're doing, all the due diligence and research, and then passing the decision on to our community to see if this is something our community is interested in. And of course, projects like these are great opportunities for us to get into early, to get whitelist, to get discounted mints, and things like that. But we have to choose wisely. There's so many of them lined up, and we have to investigate each of them to see if it makes sense to, since we have limited resources. So please take a look and then cast your vote on the 20th to see if this is something you would personally like to invest in. And remember, like all the early investors of STEPN did really, really well. I don't know if we're going to do as well, but that's kind of the goal, right? All right, so that's with Jumpr. That's moving on to the next point was the crowdfunding strategy. So remember when we sold the high table NFTs, we had low, medium, and high risk strategies. So this one falls under the highest risk category. And it's something that's relatively new and innovative. So what we're planning to do is these are going to be ERC 4626 tokens. And we will crowdfund for, I believe, 100 ETH worth of assets. And then we're going to use these ETH to purchase one of the 4 blue chip NFTs. So the NFT series are Azuki, Doodle, Macy, and CloneX. So these 4 are what's being supported on BendDAO, BendDAO. DAO. So, host, could you please post the link to BenDAO? So, what BenDAO does is that they allow NFT holders to stake their NFT, and they only do these four right now. So they allow, say, if I have an Azuki, I can stake my Azuki on BenDAO right now. And then what would it give me? It's going to let me take out 30% of the floor price of whatever I stake. And then I can then take out the 30% and restake it back into BenDAO to get platform incentives, basically. So I'm purchasing an NFT, I'm staking it onto BenDAO to borrow out 30% of its value, and then I then stake the 30% back into BenDAO to get platform incentives like airdrops and tokens and things like that. So why do we want to do this? Because the BenDAO is giving away enough platform incentive to be a pretty high APY, and we think that by holding these blue chip NFTs, we can get benefits in the long run, even without considering BenDAO. Because, for example, if I hold an NFT, the value of the NFT itself can go up as time goes on, as well as these blue chip NFTs tend to do various airdrops. So if you take the airdrops and sell those, that would be additional income. So why do we want to do crowdfunding? Is because we can kind of distribute the risk and the assets, so you don't have to have lots of money and ETH to be able to get a Macy or CloneX. We can just put in whatever we can afford and be part of the whole crowdfunding pool, basically. So we are going to come up with a token, basically, that's going to be correlated to the share of the total assets in the pool. Like, say if there are 100 ETH in the pool and you put in 1 ETH, then you have 1% of the entire pool. So you will get 1% of the total tokens that we issue. So that would designate how much profit sharing you would get when we cash out. So right now we have already completed the smart contract side, and we're building the UI so people can, go to a website and click on how much asset to put into the crowdfunding pool, and then you can get back the tokens that I mentioned. And this is going to be relatively centralized in terms of control. And then it would be managed by a multi-sig contract. So you have to trust us to do some of this transactions for you. But since you're a holder, we assume that you do trust us. But this will be all transparently viewed on the Web3. So we have some... host, can you please post the docs to BenDAO if you haven't yet? So you guys can take a look. Awesome. So you guys can take a look at what BenDAO does. And Teahouse, did some investigation. Phoenix actually locked his own NFTs. CloneX, yeah. Okay. I thought he also has a Doodles. I think he staked both his CloneX. No? And Doodles? Okay, so he staked his own NFTs in this project for over 50 days, I believe he said. And so far, so good. He's getting like the incentives from the platform, and he did exactly what we will be doing with our crowdfunded pool. So this would be something, you guys can actively earn on. Of course, this is categorized as the highest risk category. So please, do your self-evaluation to see if this is a good strategy for you. But this is looking like the first thing you will be able to actively put your assets into and hopefully get a APY from this investment. But no investment advice. Make your own decision, do your own research, and all that. We're just making this available to you. So, yeah. So going back to the voting that's going to happen next week, and of course we'll make an announcement when that comes out. The voting itself is to decide which of the blue chip NFTs we will use our fund, the 100 ETH, to purchase. So again, they are Zuki, Doodle, Macy, and Clonex. And once we get our community's vote, we'll be buying the floor, because BenDAO only considers the floor price, not the individual price of your NFT that you actually hold. So it makes the most sense to just get whatever's the floor price once. And then some people wonder, how is this crowdfunding different from like a fractionized NFT? And we think it's better, because if it's fractionized, you have a fraction of, for example, a Clonex, but you don't actually get airdrops because you only have a fraction of the full NFT. But with the crowdfunding, because Teahouse as a whole owns the entire NFT, so we actually will get airdrops when these happen, and then we'll sell these for based on whatever the people who have put their assets into the crowdfunding pool will decide what to do, when to sell, and things like that. So some decision points include, if it goes up, when do we sell? If say if Clonex goes up 150%, do we sell at 150 and just distribute the profits, or do we wait indefinitely until however high it can go, but then it may go down as well, right? And on the other end of the spectrum, like how low would it go before we decide, hey, we got to give up on this and take our losses? We can't just hold forever. We have a vote on when we need to stop loss as well. So things like this will all be decided via snapshot, as we mentioned before, and that would all be announced as we are ready. Okay, so that's pretty much it, I think, for the crowdfunding blue chip NFT project, or actually it's a strategy. So the next main topic is the SecuX Nifty hardware wallets. So all of you holders should get a free hardware wallet. That's part of the deal when you purchased our high table NFT. So that is being worked on right now. We have a team of people actually testing the hardware wallet right now. For example, they're seeing some iOS issues. We're trying to get the vendors to fix these before we open up the redemption process to our holders. This is a brand new product, so it's sort of expected that there are some issues. But we've also tested like the normal path, and the normal path seemed fine. But there's some like niche paths where you're using this hardware wallet to mint NFTs or doing some other things, and it has some bugs still. So once we fix that, we will work with the vendor to get it into your hands. The Android system seems to be relatively stable right now, but we'll wait for the iOS side as well. So we expect that the redemption will open up towards the end of the month. So if you have if you bought the high table NFT, you should have received a airdrop, or you will be receiving an airdrop into your wallet that you can use to claim a coupon code. You will then take that coupon code to SecuX's eShop to redeem and then fill out your address. And if you're in Taiwan, because that's where they're located, the shipping is completely free. But if you're outside of Taiwan, shipping, you have to pay for the shipping, but the product itself will be 100% discounted. And all of that information and the website to do this will also be announced in the next couple of weeks once we verify that their product is functional and great and good for our holders. Um, yeah, did I miss anything, host, regarding the NFT? Okay. The NFT for redeeming the hardware wallet. It is kind of redundant. We're airdropping you an NFT, which then you can get a coupon code, which then you use in their eShop. But we think this is the best way to make sure the wallets that actually minted are the ones who's getting the hardware wallets. So in the future, we will do other airdrops like these. So including the key cards with the bull market and the bear market key card. So we're gonna experiment with, how to airdrop benefits to our holders. Yeah, so I think I covered the three main points, and I took another look at our voting. It looks like there are three English only speakers and six bilingual people on this call. If you haven't voted and you're here, please scroll up and vote whether you're English only or bilingual. Because if you're bilingual, then Phoenix's AMA is probably a little bit more exciting. And then if you're English only, we still want to, take care of you. So don't worry about that. Yeah, so I'm going to open it up to questions. We talked about Jumpr, the GameFi project. We talked about the blue chip NFT crowdfunding strategy. That's going to be the first thing you guys can invest in as a holder. And then we talked about how to get your hardware wallet as part of your mint. So any questions about these topics or pretty much anything else, please can they raise your hand? Yeah, either raise your hand or if you somehow can't talk, feel free to type it in the English VIP Pass channel and then we'll try to answer them. Yeah, or if you have any suggestions for us, what do you want to see more of as a holder, please also send that and we'll do our best to accommodate you. Sorry, today I may sound a little bit distracted. For some reason, my notification won't go away, so I'm hearing alerts every single second, basically. So I gotta do something about this. I feel like I can't think when there's constant beeping in the background. Sorry about that. Okay, so anybody want to raise their hand to come up to the stage to ask any questions? Okay, so our host has already posted the sneak peek channel, and then also the key card for our OGs are going out soon, next week, right? So awesome. So initially, the key cards were meant only for the first mentors for the VIP pass, but the OGs were like, "Hey, what about us? We're the OGs, we're the VVIPs." So we made a different set for them as well, and that's in the process of being airdropped to them. But if you're a VIP holder, you should have already gotten your key cards. So if you haven't, you could come talk to us. So Savri asked, when will we know the perks for VIP pass? I think you already know a lot of the perks. So some perks include you're going to be able to invest on our platform, and the crowdfunding NFT, blue chip NFT strategy is the first one you can invest in. So other people will, non-holders will not be able to invest into our pool. So that would be one of the benefits. And the other one is for our partner projects like Jumpr. And we have about 2 or 3 more GameFi projects that's coming up in the next couple months. You get in as, the first Genesis NFT holders. If you want to mint early, you get whitelist. You get probably discounted whitelist. These are also benefits to you guys. And in the future, actually, towards the end of the year, Q4, when we launch our T token, you would get airdropped T, and that would be another perk for the VIP pass. Oh, if you mean like when you will know what profession you get for the corresponding perk, that will be after we mint, so not for a while. Before you know your profession, you can already use it as a pass to do everything I just mentioned before. But once we reveal for each profession that you have, there's other corresponding perks to that as well. For example, you get additional rewards, T token rewards if you invest in certain strategy categories actually, and things like that, but you won't know until we do the reveal, which will likely be later this year. Okay. Nobody else has any questions? Okay. Well, we'll be here and we'll try to make this regular probably once a month for the English speakers, and we'll make sure we record them for the people who are in different time zones. Um, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or host or open up tickets. Once again, the server will go be restricted, I guess. I'm looking for the word. We'll only have a channel open for people to chat during the weekends, and we'll respond a little bit slower. But during the week, we'll still be really quick in responding to all of the tickets and such. Really, I don't remember this concept. Is it Ready Player Two? Is it in the second book? It's in the first book? Okay. Oh, it's the end of the movie. Sorry, I read the book. I don't know if it was in the book. I did not watch the movie. All right, cool. All right, so let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming, making the time, you guys, and hope to keep in touch. Yeah, don't forget to come vote. Don't forget to do your own research and come vote next week on the crowdfunding, and then on the 20th is the other one, Jumper. Come vote. Thanks. Bye.